Oh, you must listen to me. He was on the news everywhere. Anyone that would talk to him, he was there. Yeah, I've got him. We've got him. We got him. Maxine Waters. Impeachment, impeachment, impeachment. We know. Well, the problem is Schiff and all the guys were doing some dirty deeds, and he may end up in trouble when it's all said and done. This article starts, President Trump emboldened after the special counsel said that he did not find any evidence of criminal conspiracy. $20 million, close to 24 Democratic attorneys helping Mueller. Some of them donated to the Clinton campaign. The number 2 guy in the Mueller investigation was actually at the campaign headquarters to celebrate Hillary Clinton's victory. They couldn't find anything. But Adam Schiff says, well, there's obviously collusion here, so we're going to continue. But it says here that the special counsel did not find any evidence of criminal conspiracy to sway the 2016 election, and he has an early target as he seeks recompense from his critics. Representative Adam Schiff of Burbank, who maintains that he's seen evidence that Trump colluded with Russia, though. So he's seen it. But nobody at the special counsel's office saw it. Or did they? Well, let's see. Over the last 2 years, Schiff, who has led the House Intelligence Committee since January, has emerged as a public foil to Trump and his supporters. He has delivered scathing takedowns of Trump for calling Robert Mueller's probe a, quote, witch hunt. How dare President Trump call the Honorable Robert Mueller's investigation a witch hunt? And he offered similar criticism of Trump's congressional allies, now leading a charge to depose Schiff as chairman on the grounds that his bias against the president makes him unfit to lead. Yet even as House Democrats make a clear pivot away from the collusion question, they continue to rally around Schiff, who refuses to let the matter go until lawmakers can assess the investigation materials that informed Mueller's findings. Quote, undoubtedly there is collusion, unquote, Schiff said in an interview this week after Attorney General William Barr submitted a 4-page letter to Congress summarizing key aspects of Mueller's report. Quote, we will continue to investigate the counterintelligence issues. That is the president or people around him compromised in any way by a hostile foreign power? It doesn't appear that was any part of Mueller's report, unquote. A Justice Department official said Tuesday it would take weeks to make at least part of the Mueller report public. House Democrats on Monday gave Barr until April 2nd deadline to provide Congress with a copy. This week, the Trump campaign singled out Schiff along with Intelligence Committee member Representative Eric Swalwell, Democrat of Dublin, California. So proud to be from California, I am. Not. Okay, on a list of people, it urged media outlets to avoid booking for interviews after Barr announced Mueller's findings, according to reports. The White House put out a report, kind of a mockery report, to the different media outlets saying, hey, this list of people, here's a list of representatives that you kept having on, and they kept saying there was proof and collusion was coming, charges, but they were wrong, so you probably don't want to have them back on. Well, this really ticks off Nadler, House Judiciary Committee Chairman Gerald Nadler, and Brennan, and Schiff, and Swalwell. They're all upset. And Comey. Quote, it doesn't matter that, it doesn't mean there wasn't an enormous amount of smoke there, unquote, said Representative Peter Welch of Vermont, a member of the Intelligence Committee. Quote, this was a fine legal distinction Mr. Mueller had to make, unquote. So, The Democrats who run the Intelligence Committee, even though they are pivoting away from the fake collusion story, Schiff is going to double down on it. Well, who else is going to double down? Nancy, I try to be respectful to senior citizens. Nancy Pelosi, though, and Maxine Waters, I really believe are not aging well enough to still be coherent. Pelosi especially, because she is a Speaker of the House, so she is in the camera a lot, and she's supposed to be speaking about issues a lot, but she keeps freezing up. She keeps forgetting that she keeps calling President Trump President Bush, and she freezes. So, Mediaite says that Nancy Pelosi, we don't expect to, quote, we do not expect to accept AG Barr's, quote, interpretation of the Mueller report. And let's listen to a little video about this.
First of all, happy birthday.
Thank you.
How do you feel about fighting this battle on two fronts, the Justice Department upholding the Mueller report and expressing his opposition to the ACA?
Well, the ACA bothers me the most because we just haven't even seen the Mueller report, and we don't expect to accept just the Attorney General's interpretation of it. A little bit arrogant of him to think that that would be the case. In terms of what they are doing, though, this could be deadly for people to be deprived of access to quality, affordable health care. Martin Luther King said it best. He said, of all the forms of inequality, the one that is the most...
I'm not going to finish that. Obamacare is defunded. A Texas judge said it's unconstitutional now because the Commerce Clause is not going to work because there's no money to fund it. So that's one thing she was going to just blah, blah, do her little soundbite on. But the thing that was interesting, and it's bizarre, it's Twilight Zone to me, because the way the process works is the Attorney General is supposed to provide a summary to Congress and then release what information he thinks he can within the Department of Justice guidelines. So you heard what she said. I believe it's a little arrogant for Attorney General William Barr to give a summary and expect Congress to believe it, to accept that Congress should believe his assessment after talking to Special Counsel Robert Mueller and Rosenstein. So she thinks it's arrogant that he did what he was supposed to do. In an interview which aired on Make It Plain with Mark Thompson on SiriusXM's Progress channel, the House Speaker stated that the 4-page summary authored by Barr and made public on Sunday will not suffice. Well, it's not supposed to suffice, Pelosi. That's a freaking summary. You're going to get what the Department of Justice rules allow you to get from the Attorney General in a few weeks. Asked by Thompson whether she's confident the House will get its hands on the Mueller report, which, of course, he has to send over. Well, he doesn't have to, but he's supposed to send over what he can. And he says he's going to send over all that he can within the rules. And it says here that the Speaker was unequivocal and warned of consequences for those trying to stand in the way of its release. Who's standing in the way? Seriously. Quote, we have to get the report, unquote, Pelosi said. Quote, they, to their peril, will keep that report, unquote, to their peril. So, criminal Schiff, according to President Trump, he's going to try to keep his position as the chairman of the Intelligence Committee. And Pelosi says, of course, we're not going to accept Attorney General Barr's interpretation of the Mueller report that he received directly and also interviewed Mueller before putting out his 4-page report. So they're not going to accept it. Now, the media, and I've been playing this for the last couple of days, so I'm not going to play the sound bites again. You can hear them. You can go on my Twitter page or MAGA book page, look up Informant or Informant Show. I have a bunch of links. The problem for the Democrats when it comes to the media side is their ratings have been like skyrocketing because all the liberals have been going to MSNBC and CNN. Rachel Maddow, tell us in your wisdom, what do you know about the collusion? Is President Trump going to be impeached? Is there something that Brennan told you? And so the ratings have been skyrocketing. She's been like the poster child. Well, the problem is when you make a lot of statements, when you yap a lot, then there's a lot of information that can be used against you if you were wrong. So, Rachel Maddow, which I think in that NBC, in the New York Post, the Mueller madness chart of who would be the winner of the biggest loser in media, it has to be Rachel Maddow, I think. Okay? And Sean Hannity, what he did is he went ahead and he put together, this is an article from the Gateway Pundit, Hannity dunks on MSNBC hack Rachel Maddow posting stunning compilation of her most unhinged lies. And it's in a video. So you're going to be able to hear the audio of it. I'll turn it up. But this is where he has fun with, as her ratings were skyrocketing and they were selling a lot of advertising. But the problem is, in the end, she was lying over and over again. So here we go.
No collusion, no obstruction of justice. The long-standing 2+ year narrative of the media, mob, and the Democrats, it was nothing more than a hoax. It was contrived and built off of irrational hate and this psychotic rage perpetrated by those who first wanted to ever prevent Trump from becoming president, but had an insurance policy to destroy his presidency in the event that he wins at any cost, even if the heart and soul of this country was ripped apart in the process, and our Constitution. For years, you, the American people, you have been deliberately lied to. You have been deceived on a spectacular and, frankly, historic level. But this process of holding people accountable, from the deep state to the media, to their friends in the Democratic Party, we will name every name. We will demand justice. We will call out every single solitary liar, con artist who actively promoted a hoax, conspiracy theories, many for personal and political gain only, for power. This is now part of our mission going forward. Tonight, we start with the chief conspiracy theorist of all of them, starting at the top. NBC News, Tom Brokaw, are you proud of your network tonight? Rachel Maddow, the face of MSNBC, supposedly a news channel, yesterday prominently featured on the cover of the New York Post, along with the title, Mueller Madness, Who Got It the Most Wrong? Well, they actually put up brackets of the media's numerous collusion conspiracy theorists. As you can see, oh yeah, she's the #1 seed. By the way, you can see my filled out bracket on Hannity.com. And you better believe she has earned that position. Night after night, never-ending lies, one bizarre conspiracy theory after another, and she has been rewarded for being the #1 liar conspiracy theorist in America. Nobody ever has challenged her or vetted her or questioned her as to the depths and lengths that she has sunk in this process, breathlessly suggesting that the Kremlin and Putin are controlling the White House, that Donald Trump is a Russian puppet, and Vladimir Putin is pulling all the strings in our very own federal government. Watch with your own eyes and see if you believe this.
Maybe he's not really under audit. Like, all of those little things might be true. Okay, that'd be interesting to know. I don't know that that would change the world that much. But what would change the world is if, Russia was interfering in the election, and they weren't doing it on their own, and he was in on it.
After all the worry, we are actually about to find out
if Russia maybe has something on the new